I gotta wait. How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
Welcome to the share, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
I'm Dreme, a black woman with many beautiful interconnecting identities. A few I will name at this moment as we get started on this podcast journey together. A Bostonian, born and raised in the inner city, Dorchester and Roxbury neighborhoods, to a teenage single mother who has my whole heart. An educator, I've been working with youth and children since my teenage years, and formally, I have been teaching almost a decade now. That's wild to think about. An entrepreneur, I am the founder of The Chair, a black and brown centered tech platform dedicated to supporting people on their hair journey, where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a more joyous experience. I have a workable site, my prototype. It took me 2 years to build, and now I'm on this adventure that you're currently on with me. My goal for this podcast is to share stories, black stories, educator stories, entrepreneurship stories, and hair stories. I want you to leave each episode with the opportunity to gain new insight, just a glimpse into my world or the worlds that are featured on my podcasts, a little chuckle during your day or night, possibly a little anger to encourage you to advocate for justice, and hope to continue learning and dreaming. So come in and listen to the beautiful voices in the chair as they share their stories, starting with me.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Hello, beautiful people. This is Dr. Mitchell. Mitchell, can you please introduce yourself?
Yes, I can. But if it's okay, first I want to say thank you for inviting me on. This is really fun. So I'm Dr. Tope Mitchell. I'm the CEO and co-founder of Reflect Me. So we are a B2B SaaS retail tech company. And we help companies, we help brands and retailers to connect inclusively on their product pages with different target markets. So for clothing, that's showing customers of every size. For hair care, that's showing different textures of hair. For beauty, it's different skin tones. So that's what we do. But I'm also a mother of two. I am married to my co-founder. We were married prior to starting this company together. This is our second company together. And what else? Oh, PhD in sociology. Yoruba is my background, ethnic background in Nigeria. But my mom is from Houston, and I grew up in LA and in Washington State in a very, very small town called Chehalis, Washington.
When I hear you talk, I think about The Chair, the platform I'm building to support black and brown people on their hair journey. And
Yes.
my core values of this is community, love, empowerment. And people always ask, how can a platform be those values, right? If it's tech, how can a platform really show those feelings? And I'm like,
How
well,
did you answer that?
right, yeah. For me, it's more of we are creating spaces in communities so people can see themselves and hear themselves. If I've got connected to you through a white man, what if there's this platform where can see so many people who look like me, who are similar to me, who possibly may have a story or a hair texture that kind of looks like me? And people are like, I don't think it's that important. And I'm like, it may not be important to you, but the idea of community, being able to have someone to tap you on the shoulder, to give you a hug, even if it's virtual, is significant.
Exactly.
And when I think about hair, there's a part of it that, yeah, it has to do with identity and that intensity, but there's also a part for me that has to just do with love and being seen in oneself and how you are confident enough to portray yourself in any space. Do you remember the first time you fell in love with your hair?
Yes. And as you asked me that, it gave me a flashback to love and basketball where she's like, do you remember the first time you fell in love with hip hop? My God, you said it. So my brain got to shifted for a second. Oh no. But yes, I love that question because I always loved my hair. And I think that's what makes things so difficult now because I know you watch social media and you see so many people going on this journey to learn how to take care of their natural hair or to love their hair because it was always straightened.
Mm-hmm.
And I literally, my whole life, wore my afro. I mean, I wore braids. We did do braids with extensions because my mother was taking care of me. And she was like, I can't do your hair every day. And I was like, bet, I don't want you to do it every day. That's stressful. So I did wear braids, but it wasn't like I didn't want my hair. And it's the same with my daughter. I love it so much. She's like, I love my puffs. I love my hair. And it's beautiful to me. But it was not, it's gotten harder as I've gotten older. It's gotten harder because even before when I could give my hair a rest and my mom would braid it and then I would wear it out. And a lot of it was about how my hair looked and not the health of it.
Mm.
And my great aunt had a hair salon and my mother worked at it with her. She did a lot of jobs. My mom was an entrepreneur. She worked there. She braided hair. And my other aunt did as well, my Auntie Shirley. So my Auntie Shirley in her house, she had the little hair washing sink and they would do keratin treatments on her daughters and their hair was just like flowing in the wind. And for me, my mother would put in these beautiful braid styles and like oil my scalp, like grease my scalp and things like that. But I didn't get any treatments. And it may have been my mom not trusting hair products and toxins, perhaps. Knowing my mother, she's very natural. We went to the natural stores when they were stinky and like everything was in bulk and we would go to get our like products. So it may have been that, but I had to learn the health of my hair and I would spend so much time massaging butters and oils and doing all these things and it was very healthy and loved it. But then when I got into grad school and I was vegetarian, I was walking every day. I was so my best self in grad school and then it just started to wear me down because I didn't realize I was really young when I went in. I was 20 when I went in for my PhD program because I had started school early and I did a running start program in undergrad. So I started undergrad as a junior when I was a teenager. So there was this transition where I didn't know stress. Like I didn't have my adult brain yet, right? I wasn't even 25. So balancing like taking care of myself and school went out the window. I had that freshman 15 experience that people usually experience when they're in undergrad. I experienced it in grad school and I was not exercising. I was using my fantastic culinary skills of making peach cobbler and creme brulee French toast to the max. I was throwing down. I was like making greens and gravy. I was throwing down. I was eating well, but I wasn't taking care of my hair and all this sort of thing. So it was a little bit up and down from there with trying to maintain my hair and the health of it. And then now as a mother, I really have invested in all these protective styles. And I'm glad that I already know how to take care of natural hair because I've been taking care of my daughter's hair. And that's been a beautiful experience for us. It's so beautiful for both of us where she doesn't have to feel like her hair is something that we need to change and figure out or take her somewhere to change. That's not it at all. It's easier for me to take care of her, I guess, because it's such a nurturing role, than to take that time to nurture myself and my hair. With my hair, I just figure out whatever I can do that's the fastest.
Where we share stories in the chair.
Look, it's my commercial. We will be right back.
It's more than just a bad hair day. It's a journey. Finding the right hairstyle isn't easy, nor is finding the right stylist or the right products. Looking in every corner of the web gets messy, overwhelming, and exhausting. All the ads, the articles, the products, the videos. It shouldn't be this hard, but it is. And now, it isn't. The chair. A black and brown centered platform where you can design hairboards, connect to hairstylists, and share hair care tips for a new joyful path on your hair journey. Avoid the clutter, save yourself hours, months, and even years of research and poor trial and error. Everything you need and only what you need is in one place. Hairboards made by people like you, for you. Find the right products, the right people, the right answers for you, stress-free. Join the chair community and make every day a great hair day. When you share your pain, you allow others to help you. And when you share your success, you help others get theirs. Lean on the chair. We got you. No stress, no strife. In the chair. The chair. The chair. All right.
And then with this role as an entrepreneur, not a professor, everywhere you go, there's just photos of you like on the internet. Something came up before and I was like, they got my picture on their website. I didn't approve it, and you just willy-nilly click these things about accepting the photo. And I'm just like, oh man, I gotta work this out because with our natural hair, it changes shapes. It's a shape-shifting, beautiful thing. When it's in an image in perpetuity, you're like, woo. And I don't like to use a lot of chemicals that will keep it down, like the synchronized swimmers in the Olympics. So they basically put like a Jell-O in their hair, to keep it perfect. And I'm like, So that's been changing. So I've been grappling with it. So your question of when I first fell in love, it's like, oh yeah, I've always been in love. But lately I've just been just let me do something that can handle the gym, can handle photos. I know exactly what it will do. And it's like I have my hair where I'm just like, oh, I miss you. What can we do? What can we do to be together again? Where my edges grow back right or the crown. That's what my children took from me, definitely. Like my edges are just way thinner and all these things. It's just a different head of hair than it was previously. So I'm working on it.
And are there like affirmations that you tell your kids when you have that time when your hands are in her hair?
Oh, that is good. I always make sure to, it's not necessarily an affirmation, but I never touch my daughter's hair without showering her and her hair with praise, right? She's never heard me say anything negative about her hair. I'll hear parents like, "Ooh, my daughter's hair is too thick, or it's too that, or it's too," and it's just like I put positivity into my daughter's scalp, right? And she does the same. We just talk about how beautiful her hair is. There's a lot of different types of hair that are beautiful, but this is yours and this is magic. We can go from straight to curly to styles, just like the magic of our hair. We definitely use all the cute words like the fairy knots. Your hair is dancing together right now. So it's so funny. But I'm going to think of an affirmation now because I think that that's really dope. We need to work on those things. But yeah, mostly it's just very intentionally positive, intentionally loving. Because I remember my mom would tease me like, "You're too gentle. It's just hair." Like with my hair. And I was like, oh no, this is my baby. I'm going to be gentle with my hair and just really reading labels. She reads the labels of her products. We've made like shea butter mixtures together. It's just like I've been, funny enough, reflecting, like really, really intentional with her about taking care of it and not just waiting until you can put something else over it.
The chair.
Oh, and if you're interested to learn more about my experiences as a Black woman and educator in Guangzhou, China, I wrote my first ebook titled Nowhere and Everywhere, Captured Emotions of a Beautifully Broken Love Story. It is on lulu.com. Take a read and see some beautiful photography of mine. Enjoy the rest of the show. When it comes to entrepreneurs out there who may be a professor and then have this inkling to try other things, or who have decided to enter into the tech space, what advice do you have for them?
I would say I would tell them that they are more qualified than they believe. I think that level of imposter syndrome even happens. We are definitely given this notion that tech companies are built by either there's the hackers and the hustlers trope.
Mm.
And as a professor, what was hard for me in the beginning was the need to be honest, right? Like it's really beat into you. And I can't say I didn't come from a hustler background, right? Like my grandmother was an entrepreneur, my dad was an entrepreneur, my mother, my grandfather literally in Nigeria, right? Shipping company. So I definitely had a hustle mindset and I had to kind of merge into a kind of like academic mindset. And so when I was coming into building companies, I still had that kind of academic mindset. And it's funny, I've been super into Star Wars lately, where like Jedi are not perfect. They do a lot of work to try to control their emotions. They try to police everyone and keep the peace, but it's always their peace and their training. And I feel like the Ivory Towers and academia is very much like the Jedi Order in a sense, right? Where they're very into their teachings and their way and their approach. And I found that I've been happiest when I have a little bit of a balance there. So even like with our data, people were like, well, just say this and and I was like, and it took us a long time. It took us like a year to get our real data. And when we got it, it was fantastic. Like we're increasing sales conversion rates by 75%, like across all these countries, engagement 300% and add to cart 70%. I mean, it was beautiful, but we put in the work. We did the customer discovery. We did all these things. And that being a professor gave my team and I having that academic experience gave us that approach where now there's books coming out talking about slow productivity. If I walked around entrepreneurs with a slow productivity book or letting them know how long it took us to do research in academia, no one would fund me. Right. No one would. That's the antithesis to entrepreneurship. And I'm not calling entrepreneurship and entrepreneurs the dark side necessarily, right? They're not the spit. That's not the shadow. But I feel like with entrepreneurs, they're kind of in the middle. They're more like the witch, like the thread, right? They're more like them. They're not necessarily the shadow, dark side. They're not necessarily like the Jedi with the Force. They're kind of in the middle where they understand what they need to do, but it's this level of survival. It's this level of rapid creation and of power. So I'm finding myself really loving that I had that foundation of academia and a compass as I move forward as an entrepreneur. And when you are pitching, there are potential colleagues and probably even potential clients and investors who look at someone being a professor, being out of academia, and think, oh no, red flag. You're not going to know how to handle these funds. You're not going to know how to do XYZ. And I find that just really, really wrong and really something that I want to tell other professors to brush off because that investor is just not for you, right? But there are investors who have worked with those who are from academia and they see the work, they see how we will go and we will teach ourselves something. We understand processes, we understand learning, we understand research and active listening and incorporating what we've learned and all these different things through our training, because you have to learn how to teach, you have to be able to learn, you have to learn how to create. And that is huge for entrepreneurship. Teaching, learning, and creating is huge because if you're not teaching like your platform, it's community, it's love, it's empowerment. So in a way, and you stop me if I'm wrong, but in a way, you're realizing there's a gap. you're realizing more of us need community. We need empowerment. We need to love our hair. We need to be together. We need to affirm each other, hear these stories, and bring each other up. And so there's a gap, right? So you understand it, you've operationalized it, you've created a stimulus, and you're learning. And so for me, it just seems like a superpower to have that academic component. But I've definitely heard and felt and experienced that. And I know that for a lot of professors, that's what holds them back. But it didn't necessarily for me, because I had been around so many entrepreneurs and so many hustlers. I knew how to engage that part of myself. And so I wasn't too worried about it. But I think and a lot of it too is the academic language and also the trauma, right? You hear the word professor. Most people who went to college, right? Those VCs went to like Harvard and they're like, oh God, no. I don't want to work with the professor. They're going to make me feel a certain way. And so, yeah, it's funny how they're like, oh, you're doctor this, doctor that. And they respect that, but they also are not sure if you can produce. And that definitely trickles into the mindset of these professors. Well, can I produce? And you definitely can.
Well, Dr. Mitchell, thank you so much for sitting in the chair and sharing your stories. I truly, truly appreciate it.
Thank you. You have been so patient. And I appreciate that.
Of course.
Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dreme always has a story.
Thank you for listening to an episode of The Chair. I, of course, would love your continued support. Let me know what you think of this episode by doing all the things. Subscribe, comment, and come back next week, every week. Enjoy the rest of your beautiful day. Or if you are like me, enjoy that moonlight and that one star under all your city lights. Love you. Talk to you later.
The chair.
How long I gotta wait for a press record?
Go.
We support her. Shit.
Do your Welcome to the chair, where Miss Dreme always has a story. Where we share stories in the chair.